kind of a song is this, Thor?
This is a Nassau song from the Bahamas.
When is it used?
Well, they sing the song when they're jumping the fire dance.
What is the fire dance?
The fire dance is some sort of African survival in the West Indies, and they beat the drums and sing.
In his masterful poem, Harlem, Langston Hughes writes about dreams. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? It's not an accident that Zora Neale Hurston begins "Their eyes were watching God" with a consideration of dreams. The dreams of men, she says, are on ships, cruising the coastline, distant, always in view, but difficult to reach. The dreams of women are quite a different story. And it is the story of Janie Starks and her dreams that draws us to her fabulous novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God. You can only imagine what must have gone on when Hurston sat with Langston Hughes in the late 20s and early 30s, worked with him on a play, Mulebone, and the two of them talked about the dreams they had for themselves, for African Americans, for America itself. And the way that they envisioned the world to come for African American writers, the conversations must have taken a wide range. The history of blacks in America, the hopes and dreams, the individual dreams that they held for themselves, the way that they looked at the future of America, the future of African Americans in the cities, throughout the entire country. These were the themes that then worked their way into Hurston's work and into Hughes's work. But Hurston brought another dimension to the conversations. Hurston was a woman, and she brought to this novel, brought to the conversations about the hopes and dreams of African Americans in America in the 1930s, the perspective of her gender. It's the story of Janie Starks and the dreams and hopes that she has as a woman that keeps her novel alive today. The reason that Hurston was able to influence Alice Walker and Toni Morrison and countless other white and black writers has to do with the fact that her character has the common hopes and dreams that any person can understand. When Janie Starks is lying underneath the pear tree, looking at the beauty of the flowers, watching the world around her, she's trying to imagine herself, envision herself into the world, fit into that universe that she sees as a young woman. And it's that excitement, that delight, that beauty that captivates us as readers. We can all identify with Jane. She is nothing less than the paramount human being, trying to connect with the universe at large, trying to make sense of the cosmos. And here we have in rural Florida, in a land that obviously threatened the existence of peoples in many ways, a simple story. A girl is growing up, and because she lacks the protection that might have been given to a family to a young person who had a good family or a good family structure, Janie doesn't have a lot of direction at the beginning of her life. She's forced into a first marriage by her grandmother, who fears that something that she may become a mule for men, is the way that Granny phrases it. She ends up running from that first marriage, and with all of its disappointments, being attracted to a man who seems to have dreams and hopes and direction, who ends up just robbing Jane of her own dreams. The story is simple. It's the story of victories. It's the story of losses. But It is a story that reaches into the heart of human beings on multiple levels. It has to do with love. It has to do with courage. It has to do with finds themes in loss, in hope, in fortunes made, and in fortunes lost. Added to all of those themes is the unique manner in which Hurston has chosen to tell us the tale. Hurston herself spent a lot of time in the Caribbean gathering stories, particularly stories that came out of the Haitian culture. And that knowledge of the Afro-Caribbean community and culture works its way into Their Eyes Were Watching God in the manner in which the story is told. In a sense, to advance her dreams, to advance the dreams of African Americans in the United States in the 1930s, Hurston reaches all the way back to the most primitive kind of storytelling we can possibly imagine, that of the oral storyteller. In many ways, Their Eyes Were Watching God is closer to Beowulf than it is to Alice Walker. And Beowulf came down as an oral tradition. And here, at the very beginning of Hurston's novel, we have a distinct understanding that this novel will be delivered to us as part of a new oral tradition. Her story is told through a griot, through a storyteller, whom we can only imagine has many purposes, some didactic, some cultural, some entertainment, multiple purposes in telling us the story of Jane Starks. The entertainment value of the story comes through in the dialect, in the jokes, in the humor that the griot relays to us. We know the drama of the characters. We know the tenderness of their lives. And it is the griot who is forming all of this in front of us, taking a story that's essentially being told from one friend to another on the porch of a home and delivering it to us as a tale for all humanity. This is the story of one person trying to find her place in the world, complete with all the metaphors and symbols and analogies that we would imagine in our own lives, that we could see as part of our own lives.
And sing these little songs.
And how did you happen to learn it?
Well, I was doing research down there, collecting songs down at Columbia University, and I collected quite a few of them, and this is just one of them. Mr. Brown, I want your daughter, oh, Mr. Brown, coat her like a lady, oh, Mr. Brown.